Russia's top diplomat met with his North Korean counterpart Friday as Pyongyang sends thousands of troops to aid in the war with Ukraine. Now, the Russian and North Korean foreign ministers met in Moscow in a public display of their country's diplomatic ties. The Pentagon says North Korea has deployed around 10,000 soldiers to Russia and that the Kremlin likely plans to use them in frontline combat. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us now for our weekly national security wrap-up. Sam, how significant is North Korea's support of Russia?
Well, in addition to the Russian and North Korean public display of affection this week, this meeting between the foreign ministers, we have now learned from U.S. government officials that out of the thousands of North Korean troops that were sent to Russia, about 8,000 or so are now stationed very close to the Ukrainian border in a region known as Kursk. In addition to that, these soldiers have reportedly received training in areas like drones, artillery, and trench clearing, and really look poised to enter Ukraine and to join the fight. Vladimir Putin has been losing a significant amount of Russian soldiers on the battlefield and had to call in reinforcements from North Korea. Now, US government officials met this week in DC with the Chinese ambassador to the United States. The goal of that meeting was to encourage China to use its significantly close relationship with Russia to encourage Russia to stop receiving support from North Korea. We don't yet know if those conversations between the US government and the People's Republic of China will yield any result, but they're certainly quite significant.
Let's turn now to the Middle East, Sam, because last week you and I were talking after Israel retaliated against Iran. Do we expect any further escalation?
Well, there has been some reporting at the end of this week indicating that Iran may strike Israel via Iranian proxies in Iraq. The goal here would be to some extent to deflect attribution for the attack onto these proxies in Iraq. However, they would be likely directed and supplied by the regime in Iran. Israel is reportedly at a high level of readiness in anticipation of a potential Iranian retaliation, as well as just more broadly because of the overall threat environment facing the country. We understand that this week, two senior U.S. government officials, my former colleagues Brett McGurk and Amos Hochstein, traveled to the Middle East to try to make progress on issues like Lebanon and Gaza, but we don't yet know if they accomplished anything significant. Also, this week in Israel, the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, passed legislation that will make it incredibly more difficult for the UN agency that delivers relief to Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank to operate, further heightening concerns that the delivery of humanitarian assistance to Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank will continue to stay at a very low level.
Well, Sam, with the final moments we have left, let's talk about the election security. How are officials trying to make sure that despite some of the candidates out there on the trail saying that we have to be really concerned about this, do officials say that the vote is in fact secure and protected? And what are they doing to make sure that that's the case?
Federal officials are clearly stating that our election infrastructure is more secure than ever and that our election integrity is more secure than ever. So while there may be physical, cyber, and foreign malign influence efforts targeting our election, there's currently no indication that any vote will be changed or the outcome altered in any way. That said, officials at all levels of government, federal, state, and local, are engaging in information and intelligence sharing and are in the final stages of operational preparedness to guard against threats both on election day and during what could be a very complex threat environment from the time that polls close on Tuesday through inauguration. So they're talking to each other at all levels of government and encouraging individuals to check the sources of information that they're digesting, to stay vigilant, and to exercise their democratic right to vote, Lana.
All right, Sam Vinograd, thank you.
Thanks.